Hello all. Hope you all are doing good. So today we'll be talking about one of the feature, or not the feature, but a request that came on a YouTube video as a comment. So let me open that before we get into it. So on this video, where we talked about how you can export Excel from Business Central with two sheets, there was a comment which was added recently saying, is it possible to have multiple Excel sheets using RDLC layout? So we're going to try that out. I haven't tried that out, but I have an idea how it might be possible. And just FYI, we have briefly talked about that topic, not the multiple sheets from RDLC, but how you can actually utilize the report layout feature. So if you are interested into it, watch this video and I'll make sure that the link get added into the pinned comment to this video. And if you are completely into RDLC report and you have other questions, there's this whole playlist which is called AL, RTC and RDLC report, which have a lot of videos all about reports. So you can just visit this playlist and see all the videos there. Today we'll be building that report and the source code of that report will be in the repository which I commonly use, which is a community question. So we'll be using this to add that report. Hopefully that makes sense. So what we are going to do, we're going to create a RDLC report, and then without writing any custom code, we would like to download the data of that RDLC report into Excel, but in two sheets. So before we move ahead, if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you like the content that is being published here, please do subscribe to the channel. That helps us to reach these, to have these video reach to a wider audience, which helps more people, and that's the whole idea of this channel. So without wasting further time, let me open my VS Code where I've already cloned the repo that I was showing you. So in this repo, let's do, and there is, and then export to Excel folder. Let's add the new folder here and we'll call it as report. Inside this, let's try creating a new AL file with the wizard just to keep it simple, and I'll choose the report. Let me name it as SDH RDLC multiple sheets, and I'm going to put it on report and analysis. Let's move next, and because there is no source table, there's nothing, so we got a structure of the table of the report. I don't need request page, so I'll just remove this. And then for the demo, let's use data set from customer, and let's use another data set or data item for, let's say, vendors. Okay. In these two completely different tables, let's add some field using AZAL extension. So let's do that, and let's add the number, the name 2, and let's add balance. Okay, let's do same thing here. Let's add some field here, and okay, let's do number, name 2, and again balance, and let's add some more field. In this case, in the vendor, we also need, let's say, balance due, and your data set data items can be different. That's based on your requirement. I'm just showing it as a demo here. So in this, I have two tables or two data items here, and I would like to include columns everywhere. So I'll just do a multi-edit. Okay. So for multi-edit, there used to be Control F2, which doesn't seem to be working right now. That's weird. This should normally work, but okay, let me try here. Okay, here it works. Okay. So now here I would like to say include caption is equals to true, and it doesn't work the way I thought it should, but it is not. So let's do that. Okay. So what I've done is I have added the include caption property on each and every field. Somehow it also get added here, which makes no sense, but it did. Okay. So the include caption is true, so I don't have to kind of worry about the captioning part separately. And here it is added. Okay. Now once we have that, what we need is the layout, right? So for that, let's add the default layout as RDLC and my RDLC layout file. And we all know that we have to give the name of the whole path, which let me see, I should have a sample path here. So I'll just copy it from here and then change it relative to my report. Okay. So I'm just copying it here, but my folder is called export to Excel. So I'll just copy this, place it here, and then the folder name that I have is report, not reports, and I'll call it as okay RDLC multiple sheets. What will happen with this? The layout will be created inside the same folder. The name of the report is not correct, so let me just correct that. Okay, so that's done here, and I'll do a build which will generate a layout file. Control Shift B, and that will add a layout file here. I guess till this point it's clear for everyone how you do that. Now let's go and start building the layout. I'll open it externally, which will open it on my Microsoft Report Builder, which actually popped up on my next screen. So let me drag it here. Oh, pretty big. Okay, so now what you are going to do is you are going to create a simple layout for this. So let me add a table. In the table, I'll add some columns, and I'll start using the field from customer at this point. Hopefully that's it. Balance, okay, yeah, for customer that's it. And let me add a new table here, and then start adding vendor details here. Okay, right, okay, balance, and then we also have one more field, balance due for balance due vendor. Okay, let me add the format properties. I think we have talked about it in the past in the other videos. The format property kind of brings the Navigen formatting for decimal and numeric field. So you should be setting this up on every numeric field that you have, and that comes with a format. So anytime you have a numeric field, Business Central or Navigen will send you the format parameter by default, and you just set that on the property. Now once we are done with this, let's move it this side. And these two tables have different set of columns. That's why we choose. And then because we did include caption, we also got all the captions as parameter. So now I can just drag them in here, number, name, name 2, and balance. This will bring all my Business Central or aka nav captions. If you are using it nav, these all features are also available on NAV. So no worries about it. Okay, and the balance due. So I have this report. Now let's make the header bold, just to keep it simple. Here it's bold, and we are good with it. As in there will be borders. If you don't like them, then unbold this, and then the simple way is select all this, and you can remove the border setting. Okay, once you have done that, then put the fold again. Why I had to remove that is because if the columns that you're selecting have different properties, it kind of gets fuzzy sometime. So they need to be on the same set of properties. Okay. Now what you see as the empty space between these two table X will always generate an empty line in Excel, empty row, right? So what we are going to do is manually, you can shift it a little bit up using mouse, but now I'm using control up arrow from my keyboard to move this table X a little bit up so that these are connected. And let me zoom this in so that we can see that there should be as less or if possible no space between these two table X. There's still less space, so I'll use the control up arrow to kind of eliminate that space completely. If you know a better way, just let me know into the comment section. I might be completely wrong here. Okay, so I'll make sure that it doesn't add an additional column there, and the report ends here. Okay, but right now, because it's a report, this table X will run on all the data, which is coming from customer as well as from the vendor entity, because these are not related. And I guess I have explained it in past that the data set is a flat file and every table X will process that flat file based on the design that you have created. So what we have to do is in the first table X, we will set the filter that it only shows the record when it is coming from the customer data item. For that, we'll choose a common parameter, and there is one called is nothing. If I remember it correctly somewhere, yes, is nothing. And then I can set the field here from my dataset number customer. So let's read what is nothing does first. So is nothing is an inspection type of operator which returns a boolean value indicating whether the expression has no object, which means a value is assigned to it or not. So if it will be blank, it'll kind of filter out that record. So if this returns true, right, this will always return a boolean. So I can say this will return a boolean. So if this is equals to what? False, then I don't want to see that record into this table X. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, add it into the comment section. Now the same thing I'll have to do on my second table X so that it doesn't get the records from the customer uh, data item. So I'll follow the same situation here or steps here. Okay, and this time I'll choose vendor. Wrong. This is the first, and I don't care about the first. I need the number vendor. Close the loop. Okay, change it to boolean, and if it is equals to false, then don't show it. And I'll tell you how this helps. Now at this point, the report will first print this table X and then this table X. If you try to save that into Excel, you will get the first table X as this, and then a next table X will start. But our requirement is to have multiple sheets for it. And there comes the magic here that you can choose the first table X, go to its properties, and make sure that you add a page break after. Now what this boolean will do, that as soon as the page which is printing the number customer or the customer details, once that execution is complete, it'll add a page break. Now when you think about the printable output, if the customer records are, let's say, 1.5 page printout, so as soon as the customer records will end, it'll leave the page empty and move to the next page before printing the vendor details. But when you think from the Excel perspective, and this is my guess at this point, it should treat it as a sheet break. So let's hit OK. Let's save this. Okay. And we are good with it right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the version. Oh, 21. Okay, not a problem. Let's keep it 21. And let me generate the app. So the package has been created. And here is the package which has been created. So, okay, I'll copy the path and I'll go into my Business Central environment. Where is my Business Central sandbox? Hopefully it is. Yes. And I'll head to extension management. Hopefully I have set the properties. Okay. Users category is there, so I'll be able to search it. Now let's try to deploy and test this. Let's see what happens. So what you have to do is you have to test out this report, and then based on your scenarios, whatever your data item is, you'll be able to kind of link those data item, do some small tweakings into your RDLC layout so that it kind of prints that. Okay, let's see, still getting published. So remember this, what this saves and how this helps. Let's understand this. So if you start creating an Excel report, which we have done in the past, or export to Excel, where you can see here multiple sheet, you have to write a lot of code, right? Then you have to export the data, then create a sheet, then export another data, create the sheet, and so on and so forth, and then create the book. But that's not it. If you look into it here, it's running through the record, then creating the Excel header, which is a lot of code here. And then for each body, you're adding the columns like this. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. There are different reasons for different requirements. But from a efforts point of side, it takes a lot of time. The only thing that you need to keep in mind while building reports that can be downloaded into Excel, that you should not have headers or empty rows or columns, because that kind of adds a very small row into your Excel. So that's never a good idea. But if you watch the previous video, which I've shown you in the beginning, which is here, you'll be able to see how you can even utilize the report layout feature, where you can create multiple layouts for even for the base Microsoft report. And so like this is the standard age account receivable report, where you see all this header, and people who want to analyze this data, it becomes very hard for them, because this becomes complex to analyze it. Because if you see here, there are some collapsed sections here in row 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there is something here. But now what you can do is you can just create additional layout as it is done in this video. And once you choose that layout, you can eliminate the header in your layout. So for each Microsoft report, if needed for analysis purpose, you can just add additional layout and keep the rows or the columns that you need, so that it's easier to kind of download that data into Excel. But okay, lots of talking. Let's go back into our environment and let's try running this report. So when we run this report, let's first try to run it as a normal RDLC report. What it does? Oh, it overlaps it. So we, I guess, took it very close to it. Now let's run it again and we'll fix it. That's not a problem. And this time, let's do a send to. Now, if you choose the data only, then you'll be able to see the data set. So let's have a look on the data set so that you understand what filters I was applying. So when I open the sheet, I'm able to see that there is some customer data here. And when the customer data is printing, my vendor data is null. And then my vendor data starts where my customer data becomes null and my vendor data starts printing, because in my AL report, I don't have a relationship between these two entities. And to eliminate this, we said if this is null, which is in this case, then filter out those rows into the first area. And if this is null, then filter out those rows which are not supposed to be printing into the vendor area. But if you have to kind of see the Excel output, and hopefully that works. Let's see. Okay. I can now send Excel with data and layout, which will actually print the output for it. Okay. Let's open this. So in the first sheet, we see all my customer records without any overlapping cells and any columns issues. This is a plain simple customer list. And then if you notice at the bottom, there is another sheet added, which is representing all my vendors that I have added. So just by adding that one single properties, and I'm going back there because I have to fix that layout for the printable output. Just by adding add page break between the table X, it was able to generate the layout that's needed. Okay, it seems it got stuck. Okay, here it is. So I think I kind of joined them so close that it kind of started overlapping. Let me bring it a little bit down. Okay, hopefully that brings a good amount of space. Let me zoom this in. Yeah, that seems a sufficient space. Okay, let's save this. And now I'll have to update the version because I'm working on sandboxes and I'm not deploying it directly from VS Code, which is never a good practice. So I can just copy path, go back to my environment. Yeah, so we don't want the printable output to be messed up when we are working to generate something which helps our users. So we'll make sure that we reach to the right area. One. Okay, and let's publish this. So it's all about that space, but that space might add an empty line into my Excel, but that's not a big deal if it just adds one single row into it. Hopefully, whosoever asked that question, I'm able to answer your question based on this particular video, and we'll just see how it looks in the output, and then we'll move forward from there. Do you have any other way to kind of do that, to kind of easily move the two table X nearby? If you do, please educate me and add it into the comment section. I'll be very helpful. Is there a better way of doing this? Maybe there is, which I don't know. Please let me know again into the comment section. And as soon as this kind of validation completes, we'll be able to test that out. If you are interested into this code, the link to the GitHub repo will be available into the pinned comment. Okay, so you can always come to this folder inside source called export to Excel, and then there is a report. And you can always track all the changes that I've done into that repo using the source control history. So when you come to the here, you can always see what has been done into this report till now. So there are different things that has been done. There's a whole AI section where we talked about the ChatGPT integration, CRM synchronization, and other things. All that code is available into the single repo. So you can download any piece. It's just for the public use if needed. Okay. So the report seems to be published. Okay. Extension is deployed. Let's, not this. It's RDLC. Wow. Multiple sheet. Okay. And first let's do a preview because our preview should be good. That's important. So now if you look at it, the preview in the first page is printing customer. Then as soon as all the records of customers are printed, it does a page break and comes to the second page. And if you do the export to Excel for this, that will work in the same way. multiple sheet, directly do a send to Excel, click OK, and here we go. This will bring the same data that we saw a while ago into my Microsoft Excel, the first sheet and the second sheet. Hopefully this video helps you to understand how you do that, and if you have any other questions around Central which I can answer, please let me know into the comment section. Rest, we would like to support the community, and how you do that, just make sure that this video is shared on your social media so that it gets a better reach. And as we talked in the beginning, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And if you liked what you just saw, then hit the like button on the YouTube video. I'll see you sooner than later with the next video. I know there are some very frequent requests for some particular videos. I'll make sure that they are up into the channel as soon as possible. Till then, have a great day.